1, and we're live. Welcome, everybody, to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm Polly.
George will be joining us momentarily. Today is Thursday, February 18th, a.k.a. Snowmageddon 2020. No, I'm sorry, Snowmageddon 2021.
No shit.
Yeah. What a 2 weeks this country has seen.
I know, right?
We've had 18 inches of snow here in the Midwest, and this is the week where everything has landed in Texas all at once, and Texas is having a rough time.
Oh
right
God.
now. So we are thinking of our good friends in Texas tonight. Cheers to you guys. One day at a time. The snow will thaw out, and things will get back to normal. So
yes, they will.
yes.
Hopefully.
Thinking of all of you. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Today is Thursday, February 18th. We do the webcast every Thursday here on Facebook and YouTube. Our past episodes are available on our YouTube page under the name A Nice Place to Brew. Check us out there. We have an audio podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew. It's available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and all the places you get your podcast from. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. We'd like to welcome to A Nice Place to Brew, Mr. George.
Hey man, how's it going?
What's going on?
It might be one of those nights, fellas. That storm that you guys got is rolling through here, and our connections are a little spotty right now.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I hear you.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah.
How much
I'm
snow
gonna do
is
my
on
best.
the ground in Virginia?
It's not snow as much as ice.
Just ice.
Which is-
Okay.
Yeah. So we got about an inch of snow, and then about a half inch of ice on top of that. So I've been
Oh.
playing Mary Hob with all kinds of things around here.
Great.
At least you got power.
I do have that. Yeah, a buddy of mine down in Austin is having trouble saying the same right now. So
I know.
Yeah.
I've been following on social media. I feel sorry for
Yeah.
Texas
It's
people.
awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. George, while your connection is still good, what are you drinking tonight?
So I don't know. I have this mystery bottle
Uh-oh.
of something homebrewed with a black cat. So I'm gonna open it up and try it, and if it's no good anymore,
Okay,
I
whose
backups.
homebrew is this?
So you're asking me questions I'm not gonna be able to answer.
Why? Okay, we know nothing. It's a bottle from an unknown brewer, and it's an unknown beer, right?
Yep. All right. So the good news is it still has carbonate.
Okay, all right.
Let's see how it pours.
All right.
What do we think, fellas?
Looks a little undercarb.
Well, it's probably been in there for a while.
Yeah, well, you're getting a little bit ahead on top. All right.
Yeah.
At least carbonate.
Yeah.
The color doesn't look too bad. Are there any
Can
floaties
you
or
bring
anything
it
in there?
closer? Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Closer.
Well, move the Blackhawks
okay.
side out of the way.
Blackhawks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you turn it?
Yeah. Let me.
There you
There
go.
we
Okay.
go. All right. That's a nice
So,
amber
is it-
color.
yeah.
Darker.
Could
Yeah.
be an Irish red.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be. It honestly. Ooh, I wonder if it's the last bottle of that wee heavy that I had in there. Let me check.
Okay. Okay.
Not that.
Okay.
Not bad though. It tastes like a like an amber ale or a dark American pale, kind of ale.
Okay.
Somewhere in
Okay.
there.
All right.
Hey, as far as mystery beers from the fridge go, not bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
What about you
surprise.
guys?
All right. Jason, you I'll wrap it up. You're a middle guy.
All right. So, I went to the craft beer store today, and I've got things to talk about. First thing I will talk about is this beer that I'm enjoying today. This is a brewery that I'm not sure that we've talked about on this webcast before. We should, though, because it's a really good one. And I'm talking about our friends at Microphone Brewing. up in Elk Grove Village.
I think they've come up once or twice.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that if we've had kind of a featured, like, what are we drinking tonight from microphone yet.
Okay.
I think this may be the first one. But anyways, I was at the store, and they had a pallet of this beer that caught my eye. And here's the name of it. I Can Brew for Miles.
Oh,
No,
okay.
With a
nice
little
fun
kid's
on
picture
the
on it.
Who, yeah.
Yep. So this is a quote-unquote birthday cake American porter
Oh,
made
sounds
for
disgusting.
the brewer's son's second birthday.
Okay.
What'd you say, Polly?
Sounds disgusting.
Well, honestly, I looked it up on Untapped to see exactly what flavors were in it. Learned the story behind it, and I was like, you know what? That's a cool story. It's a brewery that I'm a big fan of, so yes, I'm totally comfortable with buying this. It's not an imperial. It's 5%. And what are the extras? Hold on a second. I meant to have this prepared. Come on. Robust porter with triple fudge cake mix, cocoa nibs, and vanilla. Brewed for my son Miles' second birthday.
Okay. I won't hate on it.
And the
then.
beer?
It's a kid. It's brewed for a kid.
It's a
I'll still hate on the
story,
brewery.
and the beer is pretty good. I mean, those sweet elements that they mentioned in the description are not like front and center of this beer. This just kind of tastes like a classic American porter, and that's okay with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What you got, Polly?
All right. So we got first for Polly here. This is my very first attempt at an American light lager.
Look how
Called the
light that
Shooter.
is.
Yeah. I didn't put no biofine in there, so it's still a little cloudy, but whatever. Homer style. But it's coming in at 4%. And all I'm going to say is in a few weeks when it starts getting warm out, people got to start cutting their grass and front porch, drinking beer and watching people walk to a liquor store. I'm going to be drinking this. I can drink a bunch of them, and I'm going to love it.
Good old lawnmower beer, huh?
That's
Exactly.
I
That's
tell you,
exactly
looking at
what
that
it
is a
is.
perfect lawnmower beer.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Jason. You'll be able to try it this weekend when you come down and help brew.
I am.
It's on
looking
tap
forward
right
to
now.
it. Do you want to
And-
mention that real quick? What is going on this weekend? By the way, I'm very
Oh, we are doing down here at the brewery. We're doing our Pink Boots Society Brew Day, where I've invited. I know I might be regretting this. I'm kind of a little nervous, but I've invited all my beer tenders and a few women that I know in the beer industry to come down and do a double brew day with me. So my plan is to sit here on my ass and kind of point like, you go here, you go there, and do what we got to do. We'll see if it happens. I highly doubt it'll happen, but I'm gonna be teaching a bunch of people how to brew, and I'm excited to do it. To be honest with you, I really am.
My wife will be one of those people.
Yeah, thank God you're coming to help, Jason, because I got Louise on Saturday and I got you on Sunday, so I at least got a couple. I got a couple brewers to come help me out.
All right, very good.
Yeah. And actually, Jason, you got one up on Louise because you brewed a couple times on the system, so you kind of know what's going on. Kind of.
Yes, I do. I
He
do.
knows
That is
which
a good
clamps
point.
to not remove.
Oh,
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah,
I
well-
don't make that mistake.
Yes, he knows which clamp not to remove. Yes, he does.
I certainly do.
And trust me, on Saturday, I'm going to emphasize that when I say tear it down. That one, I might even put tape on it and say, hey, hold on for a second.
All right.
I actually think that's a great idea. Like,
Oh, yeah, if you
labeling
have-
certain things in breweries, just be like, do not remove, do not touch with bare hands. You know, certain warnings like that. I think that makes perfect sense.
Especially if you have people, especially if you have people in your brewery that are not,
You got
what's the word I'm looking for? Familiar with it. You know, that those kinds of stage directions are totally worth doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, it's just going to be nice to have a second person that actually knows how to brew, that I can kind of run by them what needs to be done, and then they can dumb it down for people that have never done it before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a fun time.
So
We will have a member of the Pink Boots Society on the webcast in the not so distant future. Our hope was that it would be tonight. That did not work out, but nevertheless, it will be coming here to the webcast shortly.
for sure. Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Me too.
Randy believes, Polly, that you will. He's betting $20 that you will cry within the first hour.
Screw you, Randy. You owe me $20. Maybe at the end when I got beer dumped all over my floor, then we got to clean it up because they don't know which clamp not to take off.
20 said, I'm reading this differently. $20 says Paulie makes the cry in the first hour.
Oh, them cry?
Oh, maybe he meant that he would make them cry.
Or,
No, I
or
don't know.
me.
No, maybe Jason, but no.
So, Randy, can you clarify what's...
Yeah, who's going to cry?
which is
Am I going to make the girls cry or am I going to cry? 'Cause I might.
Oh man.
Okay, something tells me that we're going to be talking about this next week, too.
Oh, God, yeah, we will.
Yeah.
And actually, the next couple weeks will be fun. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, we'll have to talk. I'll talk to Brian, maybe not this week, but the week after next, we'll have to get Brian back on. And then we can talk about the collab between him and I.
Yes.
Oh, and
Looking forward to that.
and he says it's the girls. I don't know, Randy. My girls are pretty tough.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that Polly would cry.
Yeah.
We need a camera crew for this brew day.
I know.
I'm now convinced of that.
Jason, you want to brush off your documentarian skills?
Yeah, yes and no. For an occasion like this, yes, that would be appealing. But... story for another day.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally different story.
I got something I want to talk about. So,
Okay.
My trip to the craft beer store today was eye-opening.
Which craft beer store
Because-
by chance?
So, my go-to craft beer store is called Prestige Liquors in
Oh.
Westmont.
Okay.
Right.
Code Jason at checkout. Yes. It's a great place and it has a wide assortment of craft beer.
We've gone there before, right?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, that's
on
I
Cass.
remember that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, looking through their selections of craft beer, 50% being generous, probably closer to 75% of their craft beer available right now is milkshake IPAs, which is, I feel like it says a lot. I mean, number one,
Yeah.
it speaks to, people are clearly spending money on these milkshake IPAs. You wouldn't be dominating a selection that much if it wasn't. But really, people,
Yeah.
come
I
on.
know. I mean, hell, I made one last week.
I am just
I get that.
super intrigued to try, considering how much you hate them.
Yeah, but I'm just going to do a basic milkshake, and then we're going to do a bunch of one-off on the flavors because I don't want to commit to one flavor. And
Right.
then thus said flavor, now I'm stuck with 5 kegs of it. So I'd rather do a bunch of one-offs. If one of them doesn't sell, well, dump it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just like
But
this
you're
whole... Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're right, Jason. I mean, like these are the latest things. I mean, these are the hazy. They're kind of taking over for the hazies a little bit. We keep talking about what is kind of the next. It's a recurring theme with us. We're kind of trying to predict what is the next thing.
I know.
I keep seeing in the future, sometime soon, a return to our roots and just people like rediscovering the basic styles, the German styles and Belgian styles, and those, just returning to the roots of beer. And the farther and farther away we get from those, I think the closer we get to that return as a trend.
See, I think that would be a very healthy direction for people to go. But I feel like the overall direction of these kind of quote unquote flavors of the year that we've talked about at length here on the webcast has seen beers get more and more and more and more complicated.
Oh God,
It's the
yeah.
opposite
Yeah.
of going to simpler directions and simpler styles. It's just the opposite. You see these cans and they got like 6 different adjuncts.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they,
and
they
that's
fit
kind of
these wild
why
categories.
that's kind of why I'm wondering if the return to the basics isn't in the future, because it's like a pendulum. You know, we go so far this way and then it swings backwards, you know, kind of
All
thing.
right. Okay, that's a fair point.
And I'm also wondering because I've gone to a number of new breweries, you know, check them out kind of thing. And a big part of the themes of these new breweries, their core beers, are these return to the basic styles and really focusing on them and making them good. They're not like, oh well, I have I have a milkshake and I have a hazy. I mean, they have those things, but it's kind of secondary to their core selection. And so I'm wondering, as if that's a bit of a reaction to how far we've gotten away from those.
You know, I don't know if Jason saw this post, but I saw, to continue on what George said, I saw a post last week where someone was talking about the resurgence of black IPAs, which I think is kind of funny because I just released one. And then I started thinking about it. I started looking around, and there's a bunch of new black IPAs on the market that you can buy that I haven't seen in a while. And yes, Rick, no crying and brewing. But
There's no crying in baseball.
yeah, there's no crying and brewing. Well, okay, I'm sorry. There is crying and brewing when you have to dump a batch. Yeah, that is sad. We're all sad about it. I did shed a tear a couple times. I've dumped batches, so and it happens. You can't say you're a brewer if you haven't dumped the batch, or you've been a man and muscled through some undrinkable beers, which I really tried. And a couple of times, I got about halfway through it. I'm like, I'm done. I can't try and drink this no more. I'm done.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I certainly have done that too.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time we were having people over at my house, and we were trying to muster through this one keg. And then finally at the end, my buddy Kevin, he comes walking through the house with the said keg in his hand. He's like, it's it. We're not drinking it anymore. I'm like, all right, thank you. Somebody did it. Somebody had to do it. But I think there was maybe like a pint left in it, so we did muscle through most of it. So,
yeah.
But let's talk about these competitions that we were talking about. It's competition season. You know,
It is.
You know, I've been at work. I've been seeing the Drunk Monk people dropping stuff off at Drunk Monk a lot. Do you have anything in Drunk Monk this year, Jason?
Just one.
Okay. Would you ever?
Yep. So I made a Baltic Porter some months ago.
Yeah.
Yep. So bottled that up. I dropped it off at the world famous Brew and Grow in Bolingbrook, Illinois, on Tuesday evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I tell you, it is. I brewed it in November, so it's had some time to kind of build some character over a couple of months. I got high hopes for this one because I think it's really good.
Well, I mean, you got a smaller playing field. It's only 450 inches total.
True.
For Drunk Monk
Oh
this
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring a howler of it on Sunday, Paulie. I think you'll really like how it is right now.
All right, yeah. I don't know if I tried it at the JBG meeting or not, but I already showed up half lit anyway. So
Okay.
well, you know,
So-
go ahead. Go ahead, George.
I was gonna say I was actually thinking about the competition stuff as we were talking about the beers that we're drinking tonight, because with mine I had no idea what it was, so I had to identify the style. And with Jason's, it had a pretty clear description of what it was, but you kind of talked about it being something a little bit different. Not that it was bad, but that it was different than advertised a little bit.
Sure.
And it reminded me of a principle that we learned early on, a little bit by fire, that when you're doing these competitions, it's not about what you intended to make, it's about what you made.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about that because, you know, I still don't know what I would enter this as, but if there was a milkshake porter category and they entered it as that, you know, how would they do versus entering it into a porter category, do you think?
Very true.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Well, that's one thing about those competitions, especially the ones that stick to BJCP guidelines and the ones that we're talking about do. Those beers are always going to be judged on the category and how that beer matches to the category. And the other lesson that George and I learned at length throughout our early years of home brewing was that those competitions do not award creativity. They award
Two style.
Two
two style and
technical. They're more technical.
precision. Is that
Precision's a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you pay attention to those details and you have your processes fine tuned and you're paying attention to the style guidelines and you're meeting those, you'll find yourself doing very well in those competitions.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done really well in a few, like Charlie Orr. I've done good in Charlie Orr in some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the polished truck, I put it under the experimental category because there was no hazy category. And they said if you're doing experimental, you have to say in your description what you're doing, and that's exactly what I did. And that's why I took a silver medal home, so which is probably displayed in my house.
Yeah, we talked about when we talked about setting this up and talking about the competitions. Wow, my sentences are a little strange tonight. I thought about it, and I kind of broke competitions down into 3 different categories. And you guys tell me what you think. You have your homebrew club, and then a step up from that, you have kind of your regional semi-pro competitions. And a step up from that, you have like your professional, your JABF, right.
World Beer Cup.
GABF, thank you. World Beer Cup, those guys.
Sure.
And so you have, and you kind of have to treat those in 3 different ways, a little bit. Like your homebrew competitions, those are more friendly, they're less strict, and oftentimes they won't say like make this style. A lot of times it'll be beer roulette or pick an adjunct or include a cereal or what have you, kind of more fun type stuff. And then you have your semi-pro, your semi-pros, your regionals, where those will stick to style, and the people that are judging them are fairly familiar with it. And then you get up to your professional, and I mean that's world-class stuff. That's like make and break careers sometimes. And so
I wouldn't say break. I wouldn't say break careers,
but potentially make, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can make a name for yourself. I wouldn't say break your career, but it'll totally boost you, and that's where I'm at right now. Because it's like, Drunk Monk and all these that I've been entering for years. Like I keep seeing it. Like I don't have the heart to enter it. Even if I did team up with Jason and do it, I wouldn't have the heart to put it out there. Because if something happened, I'm like, oh no, this guy works somewhere, and no, I just don't have the heart to do that. So.
Yeah, but like I know that the guys that started Metal Monkey, right before they started Metal Monkey, they took home like 6 or 7 golds at Drunk Monk, I believe it was, or maybe Charlie Orr.
I think it was a combination of both, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and so it's just a matter of like at what level are you, like not necessarily where should you be entering, but kind of what is the best benchmark for the level of brewing that you're at. Yeah. Is that a fair thing to say?
No, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
So I guess the one unknown about that from my end, and because I haven't participated, like George, what you're saying about the homebrew competitions is spot on. You're 100% right. What you're saying about regional competitions like Drunk Monk and Charlie Orr, also, very well said. I guess what I don't know is how is participating in one of the national competitions different? And how are they judged differently, if at all, from the bigger regional competitions, like we were saying?
I think functionally they're judged the same way, but the judges themselves are much more specialized, have more expertise.
Okay, all right. So the differences are, number one, volume.
Right,
obviously
for sure.
You're getting way more entries, no question about it. The second may be that you just may have more advanced beer judges.
That's my thought, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
You get people like Marty, who we've had on the show,
Right.
you know, who have been steeped in this for a long time, know exactly what they're talking about, can identify off styles down to the molecular level, it seems sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know, those are the kinds of people that are judging those competitions in a lot of those. So yeah.
I feel like I want to talk about this more, and I'm now thinking to myself, who's the best person to give us great insight into that? Because none of George, you nor I have been to GABF before. Polly, have you been to GABF?
I have.
You
Okay.
have.
Yes.
Are we putting it up high up on a pedestal, or
No,
how
aren't.
accurate?
You aren't.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't been to the award ceremony, but I've watched a few award ceremonies. So just an FYI, like I think this is like last year, the third year in a row. They actually on Facebook Live, they actually broadcast the GABF award ceremony, where they'll break down every category and tell you the winners in each one of them. But I would say, in my experience in competitions, like homebrew judges, they're judging homebrew. GABF, a World Beer Cup. You got guys that are been judging for years. They've been judging pro beers for years. That's where they become a little bit more technical. Like,
Right.
oh, you know, this and that, you know, you need a little bit more of this. Like I've had a couple times in like some of my homebrew stuff, like example, Polly's Truck. One year I got my silver, I was reading the comments. And they're like, oh, you need a little bit more biscuit malt. And I'm looking at it like, here's your biscuit malt. I don't even got biscuit in this goddamn beer.
Well, you needed some more, apparently.
Okay, I'll add it to it. I guess I never had it.
No, I hear what you're saying, and those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. It's like at a homebrew level, sometimes you're going to get, you know, with those, and homebrew competitions are a lot of fun. They are definitely worth doing, and you're going to get some good feedback. End of story. You know, but they are not of the same quality as like a GABF and things. But they are a great place to start. Yeah, exactly, and a great place to get feedback. Just remember, if you get assigned to put sea salt in, you will also get dinged that it is too salty.
Well, that was your luck of the draw there, George. So
I know. Yeah.
quit beating a dead horse on that one.
That's just me being salty, I guess.
We've got some high numbers tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, to all the listeners out there,
Happy
and
to see
especially
you guys.
for all the first timers who are seeing our webcast for the first time, welcome. This is a nice place to brew. We do our webcast every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. All of our past episodes are available on our YouTube channel as well. We are open for homebrewing related questions. If you have a project that's challenging you right now, or you're thinking about a project, see the comments section, throw it up in the comments. We will answer it here during the broadcast. So don't be shy.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
I love answering questions.
The other thing to think about when you're doing, especially a competition that's based around the BJCP, which is the style guidelines, if they're judging against the style guidelines, there is actually a score sheet that you will get back in that. And it actually goes over a few different categories. So you're going to get feedback and a score, and all totaling up to a maximum of 50 points, basically. So the guidelines that they look at is aroma, appearance, flavor, mouthfeel, and overall impression. And so those are the kinds of things that you're going to get, and it is definitely worth your time to really examine that and understand why you got the score that you got.
Well, one of those categories is worth 15 points too, isn't there?
Well, one of them's worth 20. It's
20.
the flavor is
okay.
worth
flavor.
20.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So let me share this.
Like,
Can you
you
guys
got
see
to
that, or is
admit,
that?
yeah, I can see it. I know the score sheet. I was gonna say the one thing I gotta admit is like I always enjoyed reading the overall comments on the very bottom of the page when
Oh,
the
sure.
judge when the judge actually tells you what he really feels about the beer. I don't know if I don't know if I've said this on the show, but the very first homebrew competition I ever entered, it was judged by Marty, which I thought was kind of
Oh,
No, I did
ironic.
not know that.
Yeah, I didn't say I forgot to say it on the show, but yeah, because Brew and Grow did a homebrew competition when the Bolingbrook location first opened up. So me and my brew partner at the time, we entered something. I think we got like 26 out of 50, which you know what? 2 years into homebrew, and I got over half the points. I was happy with that score.
Yeah,
I wasn't
for sure.
upset. I was happy. And then even Marty said it was a good beer, and he gave his couple of criticism, which I took very lightly, but I thought about it. And then when I brewed the beer again, I made the changes.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's exactly what one should take away.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just show this real quick because you get a lot of really good information. Like I said, you get who is the judge and what is their level of mastery when it comes to judging.
That's
So,
pretty
yeah.
intense right there. You have 12 different categories of judge.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. And then you have their non-BJCP qualifications. In other words, what are they? Are they a beer sommelier? Are they a professional brewer? Have they won a competition in the past? And then I'll tell you, the thing that's really helped me in these competitions before is this section down here, these descriptors. Because some of them are off flavors, but they're not all bad. Like if you make a hot beer that is kind of intended to be that way a little bit, if you get a check mark in alcoholic, it can kind of be a bit of a validation that that is what you intended to make. But a lot of them are off flavors like diacetyl, DMS, musty, phenolic, those kinds of things. Those not good. But if they can identify that in your beer that maybe you couldn't, it's something that you can take out and try to refine.
Right.
Yeah.
There's plenty of research on each of those off flavors too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. When you see one of those off flavors, you should research that. You should look into, okay, where was it in my technique that maybe made this stand out? And then where are the modifications needed?
Yeah, for sure. And there's some chatter in the comments right now about the fact that, and we've talked about this before, and in fact, I put it in the description of this. They put these competitions in the spring.
Uh-huh.
And what that means for suckers like you guys that live out in Chicago is you're brewing in your garage in
January.
0-degree weather in December, January, just to make sure
Uh-huh.
that you can get your beer ready in time,
Cheers to
crazy.
you, Steve, in the comments.
Yeah.
Hope all is well. And yes, I
Struggle
echo
is
that as
real.
well. And not to mention, also, I've been saying that same thing for a long time. This is kind of a harsh joke on home brewers here in the Midwest. That's if you want to have beer for those competitions, that's often where you find yourself.
Yeah.
Shivering in the bitter cold over your boiling brew kettle.
If we do a nice place to brew homebrew competition at some time in the future, we'll put it in the fall for you.
I mean, to me, I feel like that's the most fitting time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so
anyway, another comment here in the section. Thank you for all the comments, everybody. This is excellent.
Absolutely.
Even DMS/diacetyl is considered to style in some brews. George, one of those, I believe, is the Belgians.
Yes.
Yeah,
To an extent.
is fitting to style there.
Yeah, to an extent. You got to be careful. Too much is still too much.
Right.
But yeah, for sure. So,
It's no picnic in New England either. Okay, I hear that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
oh man, that's funny. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean competitions, they're a tricky animal. I think that if I have one suggestion for people is just because maybe it didn't get 50 out of 50 points, or maybe you didn't get the amount of points or feedback that you wanted. If you like the beer, if it is still a good beer for what you're looking for, or was what you intended it to be, it's still a good beer.
So we've got comments that we're looking at here. So we've got a variety of locations. We got Michigan, we got East Coast Canada. Hello, Canada, and New England. So let us know in the comments. I want to know this. Our big homebrew competitions are in March here in the Midwest. Where are yours? Is it around the same time, or are they nicer to you guys and put it in a more appropriate time of the year?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paulie, is everything all right?
No, I'm fine. I'm just actually reading these. I just got caught up on the comments. I want to respond to what Bill.
I was just looking at that one. Yeah,
there you go.
Bill. Yeah.
Oh, and, we need a beer judge here to answer this question.
No, I don't
think we do. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with that because, I've had this this attempt at a couple beers because, like guy we've had on the show before, Sean McTee, the current director of our homebrew competitions for the Joliet Brewers Guild. Like, I remember one year when we were ramping up for Charlie Orr and GABF here in the Chicago area, he actually had it printed out how many entries were in every category. And he highly suggested us, going after those categories. And I remember trying that. I actually went after a couple of them on that. And I think one of them was the experimental IPA, which that's how Paulie's truck got a silver medal for Charlie Orr, which is now framed and sitting in my house forever. I don't have the heart to bring it here because if I bring it here, I'm gonna have to. No, I'm not gonna bring it here. It's gonna stay at my house. I got plenty of other cool decorations.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, there's a certain amount of logic and sense into that because if you enter an IPA, you're entering an IPA with maybe 200 other ones, in a big competition. If you enter a Baltic Porter, you're entering it maybe with 10 others. So your chances are a lot better. Now, it's just the question of, are you familiar enough with that style to really make that well, to have, the best version of that, even in a small field? And sometimes that becomes the challenge.
Yep. And because I've actually done that a couple times. Sometimes I've won. Sometimes I've failed drastically, like you said, because you don't know the style. If you know the basic ingredients, you kind of know what's going at it, but you don't know the combination you need to do it.
Right.
You might see some Carafa and Golden Naked Oats and some Caramel 120, but you don't know exactly what they're using and how they're making that mixture. Yeah. And so usually a lot of times when I'm doing that, well, here's my first attempt. Here we go. Snake eyes. Damn it.
Oh, man. Yeah. So
Henry, who's from East Coast Canada, won judges this week, actually. Wow. This week, February. And another May locally. Okay. May. Makes sense.
I think it's
probably,
good.
Probably the bottle entries are probably sometime in late April then, I would imagine.
So Henry, are you a certified judge or no? Or are you just starting to judge? Because I know I've judged some JVG competitions, and sometimes I always judge the big ones. By the time you're done with that flight, I'm like, I don't even want to sample anybody else's beer. I've had enough beer. I'm drunk enough. I'm calling an Uber home, for fuck's sake.
If you're in a double IPA category or something.
Yeah, right.
That. Yeah.
No, I'm when I judged the big and dark competition for the JVG this year. I mean, oh my God, I'm glad I only sampled everything. I found a couple bottles and I'm like, okay, this one's good and this one's good. I'm gonna drink these. The rest of these guys, you're going home. You're done.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Beer is important when doing a homebrew competition. I feel like that's an obvious statement. But another thing that's important is your presentation. Make sure your bottle is clean and sanitary and physically nice. Make sure that your cap is on and sealed well. And usually you want to stick to silver, gold, and sometimes black. You know, don't go with like one of the colored caps or one of the cold indicator caps or anything like that, because sometimes they will get you disqualified from a competition. Usually it's just gold or silver.
Yeah, gold and silver are the normal ones. I've never seen anybody disqualified. I've seen points taken away. And out of those 50, I believe 2 points actually are for bottle presentation. Like if your label's not cleared off enough. I think it's the very top of that score page. You get 2 points just for bottle presentation.
Here's an excellent comment from Rick. Hello, Rick. Hope all is well. Brewers recognize that common styles are harder to win and those medals are revered more.
That's true.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So.
I'm going to answer this question right here. All right, Mitch. Yes, I have used Midnight Wheat before. I've used it, and I just used it down here at the brewery for my black IPA. It's decent grain. It gives you it's got the color, we'll get your color, but my opinion, because what I was shooting for, it has some rosy notes to it, and I didn't want it. I was going for just color, no flavor out of it. But yeah, if you're going to do it in a stout or a porter, 100%. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe use that for your color instead of like Black Hatton or Carafa or something like that, because you'll get your color, but you're going to get some roasty notes out of it too.
Yeah. And you have to use a little bit more Midnight Wheat than you would say like a dark chocolate or a black patent.
Yes.
Because it's not quite as dark as an SRM, so
Right.
you are going to get a little bit more of the flavor notes than you would, just using a little bit of black patent for color. Yeah.
Oh, questions are coming in. Midwest
Yeah, they are.
Beer
This is
Review.
excellent.
Yeah.
I know.
Let's see this one here. Hey, we heard you guys mention Carafa. Is that just for color, or do you get good flavors out of it too?
I haven't got any flavor out of Carafa.
Not typically, no.
No.
It's more for color.
Yeah.
It does, correct me if I'm wrong, Polly, but it does contribute a little bit to body as well, right?
Yes, you can get some body out of it. Yeah, you can get color and body, but like flavor notes, you won't get any flavor notes out of it. And I think actually, after when I brought my black IPA up to the homebrew meeting last week, finally at our home at the world famous Chicago Street Pub, I had some people look at it, and they were, and that was the one thing they suggested, maybe drop the Midnight Wheat and use Carafa. So I think that's what I'm going to do next time I do it. Oh, and then I'm going to change the hops up too, because I wasn't really 100% happy with the hop profile that I was looking for. But people are buying it, people are drinking it, so they're happy. I was making small changes. Exactly what you do. It's all about the small changes.
It is, and it's all about remembering too that we are. It's like when a carpenter builds a chair, they see all the little imperfections and things they could have done better. We see it's a friggin' chair and it's sturdy and it's a good chair. You know, it's the same thing when we brew beer. We taste and feel and see all the little things we could make better. Anybody we give it to, unless they're also steeped in this, will see beer most of the time, and usually a pretty good one too. So yeah, just have to remember that.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And I think I'm actually next time I do this beer, I will drop the Midnight Wheat. I'm gonna go with some Carafa. I don't know if I'm gonna go with 1, 2, or 3. I think I might go with 3 because I know the love on 3 is fucking out the roof. So
Yeah.
time to raise the roof of this
plus.
motherfucker. Yeah.
So, am I overthinking this a little bit? So, okay, there's
Probably
there's
are.
the Schwarz, probably, yeah. There's Schwarz beer, there's IPL, there's black IPA. with the midnight wheat and maybe a little black patent just to really spike up the color a little bit. Could you make like a black wheat?
I've done it. Actually, I've
Yeah.
done it. Yeah, it was like I used 50% wheat, which some of that 50% was midnight wheat.
Okay.
But it tasted to me, it was more chocolatey.
Okay.
It wasn't very roasty. It was more chocolatey than roastiness out of it.
So still hard to avoid those kind of stout characters a little bit.
Yeah,
when you do that?
yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
this was another beer. This was something like we call it the cabinet cleaner. It was one of those days like, all right, what do we got in here? All right, we got this, we got this, we got this. All right, we need yeast. I'll go to Brew and Grow. I'm getting some 05. You heat the water and get the shit going. I'll be back in an hour.
Oh, okay. So you made a Frankenbrew. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Always fun.
And trust me, I've actually finally depleted all my inventory of grain back there. Jason, you have to see on Sunday. That room's almost bare now. I got no base grain back there anymore.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yeah, I just got nothing but specialty in there. No, that's perfect.
Okay, good.
You wouldn't believe the amount. Jason knows. You wouldn't believe the amount of grain that I had here. I'm finally down to nothing. I'm getting ready to put a big order in next week. So,
All right.
and then I'm gonna order that C60 that I sent you guys pictures of. You guys said the bag was lying to me because that specialty malt right there was the one that gave me all the color for my amber ale. So I'm going to order that grain again, and I hope it wasn't a Friday bag and they just threw a different tag on it. We'll see.
Yeah. We do put a lot of trust in grains that if it says it's caramel 60, that we trust that it's 60 Lovabond,
Sure do.
so.
And then you look at that grain, you're like, wait a minute, why are like every fifth grain black? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah. Maybe they combined caramel 30 and caramel 90 to get a caramel 60.
There we go. Yeah, just that perfect mix. Little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's Friday. We're leaving it an hour anyway. We got one bag left. Set. I feel sorry for that poor asshole that's getting that bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Ready to switch gears?
Yeah, man.
No. Hey
What do you
guys,
got?
I gotta go check something really quick. You guys talk amongst yourself. I gotta go check some carbonation.
All right,
I'll
Paul,
be right
I'm going
back.
to need your input on this. So
What's that?
I'll have to
All
tell
right.
this. I'll have to
Oh,
tell
go
this
ahead.
first.
My alarm hasn't gone
All right.
off. What's up?
So I got a problem, and it's a mead problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So I bought another volume of mead because the last batch of mead that I had would not ferment, and I just gave up and threw it out because I did two different yeast additions and just didn't work. So I just all right, tossed it, start from the beginning, bought new honey, and I did the same thing over again. I measured out the honey, measured the gravity, mixed it with water, got it set, all that. I dry pitched a packet of D47 across 3 different growlers of mead with varying gravities, and I'm barely just getting a little trickle of fermentation in each of these vessels. The exact same thing that I saw in the last round.
So what? You used one pack of D47 with three growlers? Is that what you did?
3 64-ounce growlers. That's only a gallon and a half. That should
No,
be
yeah. You should have more.
That
than
should be
enough.
plenty.
That should be plenty. What were your starting gravities? Do you remember?
All right. So it's 112 on 2 of them, and it's about 1040 in the other one.
Strange.
Interesting.
1.12,
Yeah,
and
but
then a much lighter one.
And then a much lighter one, yeah.
Yeah.
Jason, my first thought is you may have, because you dry pitched, you may have overwhelmed the yeast. You may be looking at a long build cycle until it really is able to kick off as it generates those new cells, because you dumped them unrehydrated, so they're like going from dry dormant stage to activity real quick into a high sugar environment, which may have overwhelmed them and honestly killed a few cells, to begin with.
Paulie, does that make sense?
It does. It does. But my alarm just went off, so
Okay.
let me go do this, and I'll come back for a second. If you guys want, it says a fermenter, so you can see me do a live test carbonation here again, live on the show.
You got it. We'll do sports commentary.
Oh God, I actually it's funny because I actually watched that after we talked about it. Yeah, guys, it was actually kind of funny. And Drew Hawk Harrelson, it should have been Harry Carey. That's all I gotta say.
Listen, you know where my loyalty lies. So yes, he does. Yes, he does. Okay.
What was Harry Carey's catchphrase? I don't remember.
Holy cow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Mitch is saying that he's recommending 71B, which is a white wine yeast, which I have heard other people say because you used a champagne yeast, right?
D47. I don't know. I don't think that's a
D47
champagne
is not a champagne yeast. What is that? D47.
I think it's a dry wine yeast.
It is a
white wine.
It is a wine yeast.
Yeah.
It's okay. So it's another white wine yeast. Because I remember one time when we did meads, we used a champagne yeast in it.
Yeah.
Did you heat the mead mixture at all?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Are you talking about like flash pasteurization or something like that to kill off the germs?
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's not overly necessary, but it can help with the incorporation of the water and honey together. Just to warm it up a little bit.
Okay.
Obviously, nowhere near boiling, but just to help that incorporation and get more of that honey into suspension will really help that yeast along. Are you noticing any separation in the growlers?
So I did when I first mixed it together, but a few big shakes of the growlers pretty well took care of that. At least it looked like.
Okay. Yeah,
that's not a bad idea though.
That and my other thought is rehydrate the yeast before pitching in those cases.
I thought about that afterwards after I saw the same thing. Yeah, I guess I would pose that question to mead makers out there. Is dry pitch versus, rehydrated pitch make that much of a difference potentially with a mead fermentation?
Yeah.
Good to know.
I'll put that out to the group.
Yeah, because I've only made mead once, and that was with you, Jason. So
yeah,
I've done it a handful of times, but I think every time I did it, I rehydrated the yeast.
Actually, Jason, you know who you need to talk to about this?
Louise.
Talk to no, not Louise. Eileen.
Yeah.
Eileen?
Yeah.
Eileen,
that's a good
girl
call.
that works at Barone Grow. She's a well-known mead maker. She's been publishing Zimmer tea and stuff like that. She makes some good stuff. I remember one year at the Chaos party, like she ended up she brought something. It was kind of funny because we were all sitting back at our table, and I came back like, "Hey guys, give me your glasses." They're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Don't ask questions. Just give me your fucking glasses." And then all of a sudden, I come back with this beer, and every one of them like, "Oh my God, where did you get it?" And they all got up and went and freaking got off that rail.
Mitch is giving you a suggestion here. It seems like he has some. He says
1118 is good to restart.
Is good to restart.
Yeah. I've used that one for a wine batch before. I'm sure it would work in mead. I've never used it before for that.
Yeah. If you really do have it stalled out, though, it might not be a bad thing to try.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a good next step? Like, if this doesn't progress at all, is it worth repitching with rehydrated yeast? One of these that we're talking about here.
If this time next week, I'm not sure when you pitched it, but if like a week from then you're not seeing any activity, I'd say probably.
Paulie, do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'll do then.
Okay.
And Mitch, I'll follow your lead, and I will pitch EC 1118.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
This
Not a
is
problem.
frustrating.
I bet.
Yeah, I tell you,
Yeah,
buying
honey's not cheap.
unpasteurized honey is not cheap. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be a happy guy if I pitch this.
Yeah, my father-in-law has a friend that has some bees. So next time I do mead, I'm gonna try to escort from him, and he's got some really good wildflower honey, and it is really super tasty. So, hey, want to hit this next week? One of the questions we got was from our friends over at Midwest Brew Review. Next week, we're gonna attempt to do, fingers crossed, a simulcast on our channel and their channel at the same time.
Yeah.
And discuss homebrew journeys and how we got started and where we're going from here, and kind of have a little bit of a collab, if you will.
That's awesome.
So,
I'm very much
yeah.
looking forward to that.
Oh, speaking of collabs, I got a little mini collab going on that I just worked out with our friends at Metal Monkey this weekend. So
Yeah.
my the percolator coffee porter that I've been doing, coffee porter or stout, depends on how I feel that week. I'm gonna have Dan. Thank you, Angie. I'm gonna have Dan roast me some green beans green coffee beans that he has.
Oh,
okay. Not green beans, but green coffee beans. Yeah,
okay.
I thought
that
about that.
sense.
After I said that, I
like
thought
that.
about what I said. Yeah, he's gonna roast me some he's gonna actually roast me some beans, and I'm gonna make coffee beer out of it here. So we'll do
Nice.
like a little mini collab till I can get a chance to do a regular collab with them. They're on the list of all the other breweries that I'm gonna be doing collabs with in the next year. So look out, Old School Brewing is gonna have a bunch of collabs coming up this year, starting next weekend, because Jason's gonna join me on one of them. I can't wait for this asshole to grain out. You thought I was hard over here. Wait till you get 1,000 pounds.
I've done that. It's not
While
fun.
you and Brian are just sitting back, and I'm scooping out.
Oh no,
out grains.
you're not gonna do an asshole like we do it here. I mean, you got a little door they can scoop it out of and everything, but no.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Moving up in the world.
Yeah.
I'm moving up to a shovel.
Yeah. No, it's actually kind of like a rake.
Like
it's
a rake.
A hoe.
Yeah.
No, it's a hoe. It's a hoe they get it out.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
Gosh.
Man.
So I
what
just
else?
tested this carbonation on my not half a bite, it's in my saison, my Sac Solo Hazon, because I'm packaging it tomorrow morning. So
What did you did you spice that saison?
No, I just
No?
basic by the recipe with it's kind of funny because I never in my life thought I'd be using so much dry yeast. Fermentus BE 134. That's our Belgian yeast.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm sorry, it's a saison, because they have that and they have what's the other one? Case something. I have to look at my notes, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it's more of a saison dry yeast. I mean, the bricks of yeast are so easy. And to say something, I know I said something in our group chat, but when you guys were giving the Hawk Harrelson commentary for me pitching the yeast that one day, it wasn't 05. It was BE 134, because I was pitching the yeast that I'm testing the carbonation for right now to be 100%.
Our bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Jason just saw me pull the brick out. He's like, I'm assuming it's a brick of 134. I'm like, or 05. I'm like, nope, it's 134. But thanks for playing.
Well, that's why they say you can't tell a pitcher from a batter without a program, right, Jason?
Right?
All right.
I don't know about.
Goes to show how much I know about baseball. I'm just throwing stuff out there that I've heard.
See, I don't know about this beer because instead of being 7.7%, it's only 7%. Because I had to cut 30 pounds of grain out of my base grain. So I'm about ready to dump this batch. No, I'm kidding. No,
Really?
no, I'm kidding. I knew
Okay.
this going into it. It's the ongoing joke here. Oh, it's
Okay.
only 7%? Dump it. No, I'm not dumping this.
Yeah.
I've only dumped one batch here so far, and I'm going to keep it. I'm going to try and keep it that way.
Okay.
But on a tasty note, yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more carbonation. But actually, I'm excited, and hopefully, George, because COVID will be over, you can come out and try this. This beer is sitting there chilling in a Cabernet barrel right now as we speak.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're talking my beer and wine language there. I like that. Yeah.
I don't know shit about wine. I know I like sweet, semi-sweet wine, not super sweet, semi-sweet. It doesn't matter if it's red or white. I've had, like, years ago when I got diagnosed with gout, like, I kind of quit drinking beer for a minute. I don't know what I was thinking. But, and then I started drinking wine. I remember one time I remember one morning I woke up, it was Mother's Day. Actually, the night before, I was with a bunch of friends drinking a bunch of wine. Mother's Day, I had to go and do family stuff. I had that wine hangover. I wanted to die.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Death is better than dealing with what I'm dealing with right now.
So it's you got to add some context to that. It's not just a wine hangover; it's a cheap wine hangover that hits you the worst.
It's the worst.
No.
Yes, yeah. The cheaper the wine, the worse the hangover. That is.
I wasn't drinking Tall Rossi.
It doesn't matter. It's just.
It had the foot on the
Lots of
label and
selections
everything.
for cheap.
No, it wasn't that one. It had the kangaroo on the label.
No, but I'll tell you, some of the worst hangovers I've had have been wine. Like, never mind hard liquor or beer. Wine will dry you out like you would.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think this beer is ready. I'm kegging this tomorrow.
So if you need a break to prevent the wine hangover, I'm sure our friends in the JBG would highly recommend just do shots of Malort. Just break it up. Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God. Oh my God. You wouldn't believe this. I had I got a couple that comes in here once a week, and they're really nice. They're really cool people. And every now and then they'll come in with some bottles of spirits. And today they came in with some kind of Chinese spirit. And
Chinese?
Firewater? Is that what it was?
no, I couldn't even read. It was all in Chinese on the bottle. But it was like the Chinese version of Malort minus the anise. It was kind of funny because the bartender was watching all of us drink this and the faces that we were making. And I'm like, I'd rather drink Malort. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Scott has had, and I think I'm going to look up a recipe and send it to him. Scott has the distiller cap for his Robo Brew.
Yeah.
And he's had Malort a few times. I wonder if he'd be willing to try his hand at a Malort clone.
Oh, God. I doubt that, but I would love to see him try it.
Yeah, I would love to see him try it too.
Did you guys see the picture? You guys both saw the picture I sent you with I forgot what brewery here in Chicago that's doing a barrel aged Malort beer.
Oof. Yeah, no, I did see the
see
picture
Yeah.
and immediately blocked it from my mind.
Because it's just awful. That's it. It's just awful.
It's totally unnecessary.
No, I agree so heartily.
All right. Well, fellas.
Sorry.
I'm trying to share a screen here, and I'm having some trouble. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm wondering if I know what that Chinese liqueur was that Paulie had.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on. Was it
We
a podcast?
have talked about that. Yeah, it's funny because it's the most widely consumed liqueur in the world.
Yeah.
And nobody in America has ever heard of it.
Yeah. I mean,
Browsers block the sharing screen. Okay, so we'll have to kick that into the next show. So,
all right.
Rick.
Yeah, I've
The
got
other
some
thing I can say is anise.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some star anise, and I assume there's going to be some brimstone, some maybe some Brussels sprouts. I don't know, something awful.
Brussels sprouts. Really?
We're talking we're talking about Malort here. Oh man!
Cheers,
So, yeah.
fellas.
Cheers.
All right, time to wrap up.
Yeah,
I
let's
believe
do it.
so.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the webcast. Thank you so much for all the comments and all the participation. This was excellent. We do the webcast here every Thursday. We start at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are always taking homebrewing questions. So don't be shy. Send them our way. Even on times during the week when we're not doing the webcast, send us a message, send us a comment on an old episode. We will pick back up and answer your questions. So
Absolutely.
keep them coming. This was excellent.
As long as I'm not talking about me rolling something with tobacco, damn it.
You can ask your joint rolling questions to Polly directly. We have an audio podcast under the name A Nice Place to Brew that's available on all the podcasting platforms. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. Hope everybody is having a great week so far. Cheers to everybody out there who is suffering with the current weather. It will get better and better times ahead. We will see you back here at the same time next week. And before we sign off, we say it takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys.